Hi, now we will see introduction to big data. So the content of this PPT is evolution of big data. What are the sources of big data generation? What is big data? The definition of a big data and what is the characteristic of a big data? The 5 V's involved in big data and what are the tools used in big data? So the evolution of big data, if you see the in the earlier days, there are few companies are producing some few datas and others are consuming it. But these days we can see that all of us are generating data and all of us are consuming at various time at any time anywhere scenario. So if you see the unit of data size, so it started with the kilobyte, then it moved to megabyte, that is 2 power 20 bytes. Then it slowly went to gigabyte, terabyte, petabyte, and exabyte and zettabyte. Now we are in the era of yottabyte, that is 2 power 880 bytes. So almost is like 10 power 24 or 1 septillion bytes. So these many amount of informations are available or it is being produced every day. We are talking about everyday scenario here. So right now if you see almost 10 power 21 bytes of informations are being produced every day as per the statistics taken at 2020. So by in this 4 years probably we might have reached this 2 power 80 bytes of information. So evolution of big data by technology. So the by technology, if you see it, there is a evolution happened in terms of some devices like a telephone, desktop, car. So telephone has been evolved as a mobile these days, which is again act as a multi-purpose device, right, and producing large amount of information through this. And this desktop has been replaced with the cloud technology where multiple devices are being connected and all those informations generated by those devices are being shared. And again the car, which was like a luxury to everyone, now it has been possible to everyone in the terms of smart car. So all these devices, these one I have given only these three devices which has evolved. There are so many devices which has been evolved from older days to now, but if you take these three important devices or tools which has been evolved and it started producing lot of information in terms of technology evolution. And then if you see the evolution of big data by means of internet of things, in earlier days a person will be having one devices, but now it has been it has been improved to one person controlling six among devices. The six devices might be a smartphone, or it might be some wearables, or might be some cattle shopping cart, then bike or smart meter, parking meter, any some sensor device, some camera. So a person can is been controlling or has been controlled by six number of devices. So if we can understand how much of amount of informations these devices are producing every day. So this is about the internet of things. And if you see through social media, where there is no words to say. So every day, if you take Twitter, so every minute there has been 3,47,000 triple two tweets are happening per minute. So and you can see this Facebook, they have enormous number of likes and photos are being shared. And then YouTube, there are 300 hours of videos uploaded is happening every day. And then in Instagram it is again 1 lakh sorry 17 lakh 36,000 triple one Insta pics are being uploaded every day. So all these informations are datas which has been shared among others, shared among other medias also. So and again evolution of big data by other factors like retail shop, insurance, transportation, government, education, healthcare, media and entertainment, banking and finance. All these sectors are also generating many number of informations. They are sharing some news or some updates with their with the users every day. So we can understand the evolution of data which is been huge now. So data, big data sources we can categorize as like this, like a human generated data, machine generated data, web data, sensor data. So what is the human generated data? It is like the informations which is being shared by the human through emails, documents, photos and tweets. Whereas the machine generated data, it is again it consists of your sensor information or some logs, so that is some history which has been used. So the these we know that there is a tab called history in our Google Chrome. So it will directly help us to browse the website without any delay. So that means it is again machine generated data. Yeah, so machine generated data, it also includes email logs, clickstream logs, right? So so this machine generated data, it orders of magnitude larger than human generated data. The next one is the web data. So here you can see that social media data and clickstream data. So social media data like websites like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn generate a large amount of information per day, and clickstream data, that is when users navigate a website, so they will be clicking on certain few pages and they will be navigating in a certain pattern. So this is called clickstream data, which is important in online advertising and the e-commerce. So another, the last big data source is sensor data. So we have many sensors which is sensors around us, like in cell phones we have this gyrometer and other GPS enabled devices. So sensors enabled in roads to monitor traffic as well as the miscellaneous. So all these are also shared information among other devices. So these are some of the big data sources. So what is a big data now? So it is a term which means a collection of informations or datas or in a databases or data set which is a larger amount, and also it is complex. Why complex? In the sense these datas might be in many formats, and there is no proper format, or there is the we will be having a data set which will have information in different formats also. So that's why we call them as a complex. So big data, it is a term for collection of data set so large and complex that it becomes difficult to process using some traditional data processing applications. It will be very difficult for us to process these applications. So some of the real world examples of big data, so as I told you, so Twitter, it is producing 8 terabyte of information per day, and Amazon, which is the biggest online giant, which is producing 40 petabyte of data and captures 50 terabyte of information per day from the users. So what are the characteristics of big data? So we have 5 characteristics. One is the volume, velocity, variety, value and veracity. So what is the volume? So as the name says, it refers to the huge or the enormous amount of information. So we can see that there has been a 40 times increase from 2009 to 2020, right? From starting from 0.8 zettabyte. Now in 2020 it was 35 zettabytes. So you can see the rapid increase of or amount of information that has gained through these years. So data volume is increasing exponentially. The second one is the velocity. So the data is being generated at every minute, right, at a faster amount of information. So here I have given few applications which is producing data at different times and days and timings, and also YouTube users upload 300 hours of new video, and if you see the Instagrams, they will, some users are producing many information on a daily basis. Then broadcast, so that is the red IT. So the users cast 18,327 votes every day, and Facebook, people will many people are liking, and they are sharing the liked post. The third one is the variety. So different kinds of data are being generated from various sources. The data might be in a structured format, or it might be in a semi-structured format, or it might be an unstructured format. The fourth one is the veracity. So uncertainty and the inconsistency that happens in the big data, we call them as a veracity. What is a uncertainty and inconsistency? In the sense, for example, here I have a database with the 4 fields, that is minimum, max, mean and SD, and you can see there are certain fields with question mark and certain fields with many bigger values. It means the data might be a missing one, right, or that the data might be a huge volume. So that is the understand that has to be understood from this slide. So that there might be so values which might be missing, we call them as an uncertainty, and some values will be of higher range, we call them as a inconsistency. So this is a combination of uncertainty and inconsistency, we call them veracity. So the fifth one is the value. So what happens if we use this huge volumes of information? There should be some meaning of it, that is called the value. So this is a very important characteristic of a big data, that is the mechanism to bring the correct meaning out of the data which is being generated so much. So on the whole, if you see volume, we can see there is a sharp rise or an exponential increase in the amount of information. And if you see the variety, different kinds of data is being generated from various sources. And then if you see the velocity, data is being generated at an alarming rate. And the value, the mechanism to bring the correct meaning out of the data, and veracity, that is the uncertainty and inconsistency in the data. There might in the future there might be one more characteristics which might be included along with this 5C also. So it is a pictorial representation of those 5 characteristics. Volume, you can see the amount of information, and then you can see the velocity, that is the speed at which is being generated, and the variety, these are different sources of information, and veracity, it is about the inconsistency and the uncertainty in the data set. So what is the difference between the traditional database and big data? So in the traditional database, which we can call them as a data warehouse also. So the data will be terabyte to petabyte, and it will be using only the structured format. Whereas in big data, we have moved from petabyte to zettabyte now, and then the structured and unstructured data are also being handled. Whereas if you see the hardware side, since it is a traditional database, you need a centralized server, and again maintaining those centralized server and developing that softwares required for it, and I know the connectivity part, definitely it will take a large amount of cost, so which we call them as an expensive here, and hardware reliability and limited scalability. Whereas the big data, the hardware, we have these clusters, okay, and then hence if it is a cluster, it is cost effective and unreliable hardware, and it can expand it further also. So if you see about the software, again it has to be a centralized one, schema based, and most famous databases like Oracle, MySQL and SQL Server has to be used. Whereas here the software is distributed and it is not a schema based, because it is going to handle both structured and unstructured data, so it cannot follow any particular schema. And the best software which is suitable for big data is Hadoop. So these are some of the big data tools which is available in the market right now for vertical applications, operational intelligence, for advertising, and for business intelligence, and for visualization and analytics, and then data as a service for cloud, and then for infrastructure based. So these are some of the big data tools that is been available in the market. Thank you.